Hi, I'm Mayor Sherry Cantor, and this is Talk of the Town. Talk of the Town gives me the opportunity as your mayor to bring community groups, leaders, community leaders, and other people that you might have interest in or in the community, and have you get to know them and what they do. And today I have the Old Guard here. The Old Guard is, and actually I'll introduce them. They will tell you what the Old Guard is. But I have Jeff Lee. I have Al Niwa, is that right?
Niwa.
And then I have Don Kauke.
Exactly.
Okay. And the Old Guard is a group of retired and semi-retired professional and executive men that meet weekly in West Hartford, Connecticut.
Correct.
And we've had some wonderful programming together. I have had the honor of speaking to the Old Guard and meeting many people that had really incredible professions, a very smart group of men, and very invested in the community. And we're grateful for you to hear, that you're here today. Grateful for your service, because you do wonderful service things. And so we're going to get into some of the makeup of the Old Guard and history, and some of the wonderful things that the Old Guard does, and you can get to know them, and maybe if you're interested, join. Examples of members, right? Tell us about some of your membership.
We have a very interesting group of people, doctors, lawyers, professional men, business leaders, even a couple sales guys like myself. It's a great group. It's very diverse. We were lucky enough to have you speak to us a short while ago. And you can attest to the fact that some of the questions are very interesting. And you mentioned that it is a well-educated group. It is, and we're also not a shy group when it comes to asking questions. A lot of people figure when you get to our age, you don't have to be shy. You can ask the hard questions.
And that's a wonderful place to be, where you can really be honest, and we can have a very important conversation. And that's I actually said at that talk, I want your ideas. I want to know what you're thinking, and we'll be much stronger as a community if we factor all these great ideas of the people that are here that are honest and have a lot of and wise, I would say.
Right.
So, yeah, and you have not just West Hartford residents, right? There are people that come from other towns as well, although majority.
Right, we're based in West Hartford. We were founded in West Hartford, but we draw members from 17 towns in the capital region.
Right, and the purpose of the Old Guard, and tell us a little bit about maybe your history and the purpose.
Probably two or three major things. Number one is to continue the camaraderie of like-age men, to listen to great speakers, to probably the least talked about, but maybe the most important to people is to give back. And we give back in lots and lots of ways. And one of the beauties of being either semi-retired or retired, you have more time.
Right.
When you're younger and you have a family and you're still working and you're the mayor and you have no time to do something else,
right.
We have the time. So we have a chance to give back, and we have lots of charities that we work with, a lot of things here in town that we support. And I think that is probably, those are the three biggest things that make us attractive and continue to have people stay with us. Once they join, they don't leave.
Well, what's so nice is you internally build your own community and camaraderie, and then you strengthen the communities that you care so much about. And
Absolutely.
You've raised your families, many of you have raised your families, and then it is a great opportunity to be able to give back in a constructive way. I think a lot of times people want to do it and they just don't know what to do, so ask the Old Guard. And you have weekly meetings, right? And you always have a joke section, a music section, and it's always
laughing.
a throw. I know, I am still laughing. I think they cleaned up the jokes for my 88-year-old mother was with me.
Well, we
I
cleaned
brought
them
her
up for you
protection.
first, and then we saw you brought your mother. We cleaned them up again.
Oh, okay.
The storyteller used to be more jokes than anything, but as of recently, the heritage, the richness of the lives that these men have lived begets great stories.
Exactly.
So many of them are telling stories far more than than telling jokes. And quite honestly, they're better telling stories about their lives than some of them are telling jokes that they read or they downloaded someplace. We salute the flag to start our meeting, as we've done for 51 years now. We have some songs from our group. We have our own group called the Beefeaters, and all of them sing far better than I do. But with
They're wonderful.
they really are. And with
They have a nice big songbook, right? And
yeah, right.
Two different songs.
Oh, two. Sorry, I only said one.
Well,
One at a time.
they alternate. Red one week and
Oh,
blue one the next week.
Okay.
The meeting then goes on, and we do a small bit of business, and then the speaker comes on, and the speaker speaks for 35 or 40 minutes, and then comes that question period.
Right.
We have to answer all those tough questions. And then the meeting is over as far as the formal part of it, but it's not really over because a large majority of our members continue on to lunch, whether it's at a local restaurant or clubs in the area. And again, it's that camaraderie. And a lot of it has to do with the speaker that day. And they continue to talk about what the speaker said, what resonated with them, whether you agree or disagree. And as a mayor of a lovely town, you probably have a couple of people might not agree with you 100% of the time.
Seriously, that's what you talked about at lunch?
I'm just taking a wild shot
Next
at
time
that
I'm
one.
going to have to go. We had an appointment. My mom and I had to rush off, but I wish I could have joined you. But I was going to say, so what'd you say about me?
No comment.
Uh-oh. I work hard. You may not agree, but I work hard.
No, we agree. No question.
That's good. But yeah, it is a very, very special group, and I am so glad to have the opportunity. Next time, really, I am coming to lunch.
And you've
No
been
joke.
you've been to lunch with us before?
Yes, I have been to lunch with you before. And you usually go to Rockledge, but you don't always go to Rockledge.
We have 4 or 5 restaurants in rotation where we go.
okay. Oh, there's a
The Pond
system.
House and the Corner Pug and Beachland Tavern.
Oh, the Corner Pug I went.
That's where you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of the members who belong to some of the clubs in the area go to the club as well.
Right.
So it's an amazing group. We have over 100 attendees every week, and 50% of them probably go out afterwards in small groups,
Right.
20 at a time here and there, and enjoy the company and continue the conversation. And it's amazing, and sometimes it's even when the bill comes in, we pay the tab, the stories keep going, and the people are walking out to their cars. They go, yeah, well, what about this?
And the
about that?"
waiters, the waiters are like, oh,
Well,
gosh,
thank God they're leaving now.
Yes. And how long have you all been members of the Old Guard?
I'm a short timer. I've only been there 4 years.
Okay.
I'm even shorter than that. I'd say about 3 years.
Okay.
I'm going on 8.
Okay. And do you have like a senior member, somebody that's been there the longest, would you say?
Yes, we just honored him, as a matter of fact, at our first meeting this year. We have a gentleman who, as a matter of fact, the day after our senior member was 37 years as a member, and the day after our meeting, the 1st of September, he turned 97.
Oh, wow.
And he was there and I had a conversation with him on the phone. He made a very interesting point. Jeff mentioned that these men, many of them are very, very active in giving back to the community. And I, being director of communication and doing publicity for the organization over a number of years, I figured I'd ask him, why is he a member? And he said, I like the guys. He said, I'm not involved. I can't give back to the community in any way. I just like being with the guys. So that's another reason why people have joined the organization and have stayed with it. It's for over 35 years.
So do you have help with drivers, people that maybe
Yes.
Sure.
can't?
We have a hospitality group that
Okay.
takes care of getting people to the meetings. And these are, we have some very senior men.
Right.
And you're right, mobility is a challenge, but they get there and other members get them there. And that's all worked out for them.
Yeah, it really is inspirational to see people that are in a different phase of their life, and that can be a very long phase. If you retire at 60 or 65 or are semi-retired, and you live, hopefully, right, to 100 years old, which many people, there are many
Right.
centenarians now, that is a lot of your life to have it be enriched socially and give back and be productive. And this is a wonderful place for you to, to make sure that men do that. I hope there are some women's groups like this too.
There are.
They're not quite as established, maybe. There are some, but.
Well, we do some things in terms of events with town and county,
Right.
which works out well. And many of the wives of the members are also, members of town and county.
That's right.
So that works
That's
out
true.
very well.
That's true. Yeah. So let's see. Tell me about some of your most interesting, besides me. No, teasing. Your most interesting.
Jeff might be
speakers.
prejudiced about that. Our most recent meeting.
Oh,
Andrew Julian, editor-in-chief and publisher of the Hartford Courant, spoke to us on Tuesday, and he gave a fascinating talk about what the Hartford newsroom was like on election night.
wow. Now you were in professionally, weren't you?
Yes, I worked for the Courant for.
So you have incredible insight into how things have changed over time and what a remarkable industry.
I'm not sure about
it's gone through,
incredible
so-
insight, but
But anyway, so
You're gonna have
yes,
to write my
election. But okay,
But
pray tell.
there have been a ton of changes, and the big change is going toward digital.
Right.
And but the paper still has to be published.
No,
And
yeah.
The most fascinating thing about his talk was how many front pages they had ready
Wow.
with all contingencies
Was this one of
involved.
them? I don't know.
And it's so challenging. And Hartford is a medium city, not a major city, so we're equidistant sort of between New York and Boston, so the big cities, and all the cable TV stations are doing their thing. And yet, if you looked at how the nation voted, Andrew shared with us the Connecticut map, and Connecticut voted 90% the same as the rest of the country.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So it's just amazing is absolutely the
Demographically,
perfect word.
actually, they say Connecticut, I've seen this, that Connecticut actually is the same, very similar demographics to the whole country.
country.
Wow.
And that actually really showed itself on election night
Yeah,
as
it
well.
did.
Those
Yeah,
two maps
absolutely.
are amazing.
Yeah.
They really were.
Yeah.
Next week, West Hartford Chief of Police,
Oh, wonderful.
Tracy Gove, is going to speak to us, and it's going to be kind of interesting. His talk is going to be policing in the current age versus the way it used to be done.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that are totally different
Very
that we've
different.
done. And then in 2 weeks, Ed Gay, a great economist who is, and Don told me before we started here, he'll be making his 27th appearance with us. And he talks about the economy both locally and internationally, but his talk this time is, okay, the elections are over, now what? And I think a lot of people were amazed at how the market reacted right after the election and what's happened since then, but what's the long term look going to be? So those are the kind of people we have that come and speak to us, and anytime someone comes in with even the slightest opinion that's not 100% accepted, those conversations go on, and they go into the next week, and because some guys, the meeting starts at 25 after 10. A lot of guys get there at 9:45, and they have coffee, and they sit, and they start to talk. So it's a fascinating, ongoing type process. It isn't just, okay, meeting starts, the meeting's over, we're all done, see you later, goodbye. It's not that way at all.
Right, and who books the speakers?
Right here.
The Vice President.
Yes, you do.
Well,
But
it's his turn.
To be fair, a couple of points. One is the members, are so well connected in the community that many of the members, come up with excellent ideas.
Right.
And these two gentlemen to either side of me are no exception. So I'd say a lot of this, I do it from a coordination sense. I also do it from getting speakers, and I'm ultimately, in charge of that process. But many of it comes from our membership. The other thing I found very interesting was that whenever I go out into the community and ask somebody about the Old Guard, it's just that they can't wait to speak in front of the Old Guard. And I think that speaks to its membership and its history over time in terms of how it's regarded in the community. We start January 2017 with Tom Moore, Superintendent of Schools. We have Ron Vanwinkle, who's going to present the 2017-2018 budget second week in March before he retires.
Probably right after we get it, you get it.
Yeah.
I would think, you
But we-
better not get it before me.
But we have that type
Yes,
of,
yes.
we have Heidi Hadsell. She just came back from Malaysia, Singapore, from Hartford Seminary. So we have, really good speakers. And whenever we approach anybody, people just, drop whatever they're doing. We got your response when, you were on vacation halfway around the world, and we got it like instantaneously. So,
My calendar was a little off. It was like, so you know how it saves it at
But-
so I was a little discombobulated when I came back, but.
no,
we
you did a
worked it
great
out.
job, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
It was great. It was great.
We'd like to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Sometimes, some days. My first talk of the town was Ron Vanwinkle, who is so.
Oh, wow.
We've been so lucky to have
Oh,
Ron as
right.
part of
Question.
our town and as our town leader for the last 8 years, but part of the town for 30. And a big challenge of mine actually is to
No question.
replace
Find a
Ron,
replacement.
because he's irreplaceable, but we do
Gotta
have
try.
to have new leadership, and so that's a process. And my second guest was the chief of police and his two assistant chiefs, and talking about policing. So interesting that you have those coming up on your roster as well, and I think you'll find them very interesting. We have this police chief is the next generation leader. He has incredible skills and has been a leader throughout the country, actually, in race relations and 20th century policing, 21st century policing. So, yeah, I think
And that's
you
the
will find it
title of
very
his talk, too.
Yeah, you'll find it very interesting. And we are a very lucky community that we have leaders that are so accessible. We work so well together. Superintendent Tom Moore, we see him frequently. We're all in. Our mission is to make West Hartford the best it can be. Schools, safety, quality of the town. And so it's special. Not every community, and I've actually been able in this position to see more and more what other communities are doing. It's not, we take it for granted. But people that move from other places, I think people that grow up here sometimes don't appreciate it, but people that move from other places really do appreciate it. So, and part of what you do, again, makes us better.
Well, I grew up here in the 50s, and I can still say that really appreciate the community, and that's why we're still here.
Right.
And I know you, in the same way, know many that have been here 2-3 generations.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
we're not
peop-
perfect, and we work on things all the time, but it's, I just wanted to, I had some notes of people that had come before you, and you said you were entertained by a dramatic performance of Mark Twain. Who played Mark Twain?
A gentleman named Pat Harrell,
Okay.
who looks amazingly like
Yeah.
Mark Twain. I don't think he had any makeup on.
Not Hal
at all.
Holbrook, right? Was
No,
that the-
No, but
Well,
but he has
That's a
studied
pretty
Hal
high
Holbrook
standard.
and taken a lot of Hal Holbrook to make his
Yeah.
Mark Twain. Fascinating guy.
that half-hour monologue.
Yeah.
It was really, as a matter of fact, one of the things that I did today that hopefully we'll be able to include with our program, with your program, are some pictures of some of our guests.
Oh, good.
And I have a photograph of him that in costume, which was a black tie. As a matter of fact, we also have a photograph of you as a guest. So
Uh-oh. I can't see me up to here.
We almost put a riser in
I
there.
know. Luckily, I had 4-inch heels. But
but he was terrific.
he really was.
A number of people walked out of the room and stopped by me and said he's one of the best speakers we've ever had.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
he was terrific.
nobody said that about me. Huh?
And he
Yes,
came to
they
lunch
did.
with us, and people wanted him to continue
I
in
bet.
In
character, and he did a few.
Oh, he
he's-
was-
he has the inflection down, and he does a great job.
That's great.
Really
That he is an amazing. I'm sure Mark Twain himself was very humorous and obviously brilliant and enlightened. And if somebody could capture even a portion of
Yeah.
that, I'm sure it would be a reminder. You had said the head of the Air Museum, the New Britain Museum of Art. I actually went to the Filomeno accounting firm was celebrating their 50th anniversary, and I've known the Filomeno family, and it was a wonderful event that they actually had at the New Britain Museum of Art. What a great resource that is regionally.
That's
incredible.
Yeah,
It really is.
great.
It's a great secret.
It is a great secret.
It really is.
I
New
made my
Britain has a
children go.
museum?
On Mother's Day, I get a choice and they're not supposed to. Well, they don't do it anymore, but they weren't supposed to complain, and so I would pick movies that were like Bend It Like Beckham was I picked that, and the museum, and they actually enjoyed it more than I thought they did. So that was, but they don't now. They can do their own thing, and they can complain because
West
they're
Hartford-
a lot
West-
bigger than me.
West Hartford Library has tickets that can be taken out,
That's right.
so a person does not have to pay.
Yeah. I know we just had, actually, I talked, my last show was with the Director of Library Services, Martha Church, and she was talking about how the library is offering
A great resource.
regional museums, not only, well, regionally giving buy one and you get one free, or free passes, and what a great way for families to
Yep.
have exposure to, again, another regional resource. Our region is very rich with culture, and but again, sometimes we have to introduce it and make sure people are aware of it.
Right.
There are a lot of people that grew up in this area have never been to the Mark Twain house.
I know.
It's so far away.
Yeah, right. It's, what, 2 miles?
If that.
Yeah, if that, depending on where you
Yeah.
live. I know.
And the new
It's-
director of the Wadsworth, we got in
Yeah.
his first months on the job, which was really fascinating.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Have you had the director of the Webster House come and speak?
Oh, that'd
Jennifer?
be interesting.
She would be wonderful.
Yes.
That also is an incredible resource. And our house was just on a historic tour for the Noah Webster House, because we live in the Hartford Golf Club area, and there's a lot of history in that area. And and they had restrictive covenants. I mean, there was a lot of different. They knew a Jewish family was living in the house.
Oh, no, of
But there's a lot of history in the area, and the historians actually came in the Noah Webster House, and they shared some stories with us about our house that we did not know. But it was a great. All of the houses were walking distance away from each other, and it was terrific. Right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
Our
So-
archives are in their basement,
Wow. Yeah.
and we have an archive of
Oh,
51
that's good.
years.
And I was wondering if you had started doing a video archive, especially with the storytellers that you have that come to do that. If you can.
Why are you looking at me?
Uh-oh. Is that something
work.
That's
a great
let's
idea.
talk about you going into the next decade of. You used to have a dress code. You've loosened the dress code.
Right, that's true.
Right. So Don is in the new, more
we
business
are.
casual look than the
No cravat.
traditional tie. Yeah, no cravat.
It's optional.
Right. But what other changes have you made to sort of bring the old guard into the next generation of retirees and semi-retired?
Well, we have a relationship with the West Hartford YMCA, who was responsible for our beginning, actually. And they have been with us at the beginning, and they're with us today because they host our internet site, which is
Right.
where I wanted to go on that and in response to your question. And so that's one way, is that we have a presence on the internet. It's oldguardct.org, and we list there who the Old Guard is, what activities are, schedule of speakers, schedule of special events, which we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. And that's all on the internet. And you talk about modern challenges with communication. It's easier said than done. Keeping something like that up to date it takes time and attention.
Yeah, and all volunteers, and it is
Right.
hard. Yeah.
And so, but that is one place we are, and we're trying to use that as a recruiting tool to make people aware of what a resource the Old Guard is.
We only have a few minutes left, and I want to get to some of the special events that you've had and you have coming up. I was so lucky to be able to come to your bearing of the Capsule at Fern Ridge Park. The Friends of Fern were instrumental in making that happen. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what else you have?
We had a discussion. What are we going to do to make our 50th year special? And our past president, Bob Hill, immediately said, let's put together a time capsule. We all
To
looked
which-
at him.
Crazy.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, we had a couple members that jumped in a big way. One in particular, and
An engineer?
very
matter of
much.
fact, an engineer,
Key.
a sales engineer. So
Yes.
he's not
Oh,
totally
okay.
an engineer.
All right.
And he worked with a company that produced it for us, which was great. And we put some town documents in there, and we put photographs in there, and things that we think are meaningful. In 50 years, they may not be meaningful at all, but it was our best chance at it. And I know a lot of people that drive by and say, "Boy, that tree looks really great."
Yeah,
That
that's
tree,
right, yeah.
it really looks good, and it's something to give back. And again, we thank you and Ron for being so amazingly supportive of us to do that, because it's something we wanted to do, and we didn't know where to put it, and where would the most people be able to see it. And you park your car, you get up and you walk up on the little knoll there, and it's there. So thank you for that.
No, it's my pleasure. So what else do you have? What other special events coming up? Or?
We've been to Cooperstown, the Baseball Hall of Fame, Norman Rockwell Museum.
Just a couple of weeks ago with the
Yeah.
foliage, it was
No,
beautiful.
that's
Yeah.
that's breathtaking.
We go to baseball games. We
Edith
have
Wharton
hockey
Mansion up there.
games.
You didn't go to see any Cubs games, did you?
No,
Not this
not yet. No, no. Mostly college hockey right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
One big event we have coming up on May 4th is a trip to the Rockefeller estate in Mount Pleasant, New York. So a lot of us are looking forward to that.
That's great.
We go to a lot of Yukon hockey games, very well received. What are some of the other?
And now they're local, and it's the venue. They've now in Hockey East. So the games are really
Right.
good
Oh,
quality.
It's
Best
been
in the country.
very
really.
popular. We have blocks of seats that Old Guard has been attending, and everybody loves it. It's really
And-
turned out to be great.
And as Don mentioned, we've always had a very close association with the YMCA in West Hartford. So in May, we always have a golf tournament, the Bob Sherman Golf Tournament. Jeff sometimes comes in as the best player of the tournament, of course.
Sometimes.
But that's our way of giving back to the Y. So we're like one of the largest supporters of the YMCA. And we value that friendship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that relationship is critical for them, for their survival. So we're very appreciative, and they do a lot for our community as well.
How much time do we have
We
left?
only have 30 seckons left. That's it. So
Got to
if
say
you wanna
one thing
do-
about the Senior
Yes.
Job Bank.
Okay.
Something that we are incredibly proud of. The Senior Job Bank was in a state of disarray, I think would be a
Yes, I
nice way
know.
to say it. And 3 or 4 members of the Old Guard jumped in
Yes.
and totally brought it back to life, and it's now thriving again. And
So I
and serving
actually
people.
am going to have a show with the Senior Job Bank and
Fabulous.
ITN, the Independent Transportation Network, and Bob Cave has been so instrumental
Perfect.
in making all of that happen. So
Wonderful.
there were a lot of people, but Bob was somebody that really
Yep.
went above and beyond, and we're really grateful. Thank you for your work on that. And I made Ron save the space in the office. I said, they're coming back.
That's perfect.
No, that was awesome.
So again, thank you for what you do. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for enriching so many lives. And I look forward, you can come back again another time and update us on what's going on. And if anybody has any questions, you've met the Old Guard, and you can go on the website and
Yep.
be connected. And again, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
coming up.
Sherry.
I am so pleased to introduce Mary Butler and Mary Ellen Flagey to talk about the Children's Charity Ball, an incredible event for a great cause. Mary, go ahead.
Thanks so much for having us, Sherry. Yeah, our event this year is going to be held at the Hartford Golf Club on January 21st. It's a Saturday night. It's from 6 to midnight.
Let me just interject. This is
Sure.
for the Bridge Family
The Bridge
Center.
Family
Yes.
Center.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It's a terrific night. It's a formal event. It's a live silent auction. We have a sit-down dinner. Scott Haney is our MC.
Which is always so much fun.
You never
right?
know what to
Entertaining, very
Yes.
entertaining.
Hold on to your chair.
Exactly. We have music by the Timmy Maya Band, and Allstate Insurance is our presenting sponsor this year, so we're very grateful to them. We have a terrific array of live auction items. I don't know if you'd like to talk a little bit about those.
We like to provide or offer experiences so that people can go together and kind of spend time together at different events. So we have a variety of tickets to concerts. We have 2 Bruno Mars tickets. We have tickets to see Sting. We have tickets for Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. We're also putting together an event at our farm for 75 people. That'll be a craft brewing festival with small plates attached to it. And then we have a couple events at restaurants in town. Max's Oyster Bar is offering dinner for 6 with a wine tasting. And we also were offered a dinner for 6 at the Oyster Club in Mystic, which also includes a wine tasting.
And so you're looking for?
We'd love additional sponsorships. We start at a business card level. Ad is $150, and then it just goes on up from there for half page, full page.
Always
so how
open.
can people get a hold of you? We have to, just how can people get a hold of you to do?
You can call the Bridge Family Center, and our phone number is 860-521-8035, and you can ask for either me, Mary Ellen Flagey, or Martha Rennie if you have a sponsorship.
And you will see a very inspirational story of how the bridge changes lives.
At
It's
the
such
events.
an important,
Yes.
right, it provides
Yes.
such an important service for our community. And
Yes.
thank you so much for what you're doing to keep the bridge strong and help those people in our community that need your support. So
Thank
you
you.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Our website has a bevy of information, so if
Yeah.
you'd like to learn more, that's the easiest place to just log on, and you can learn about all the services that they
Great.
offer.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Sherry.
you.